Let's go.
As crispy as friggin' heck.
Nothing beats good eats.
Okay, so today I'm going to show you sort of the marinade that I'm doing for our chicken and skirt steak fajitas that I will be cooking this afternoon. Last night we grilled with Assad Ganem. Today we're going to be doing fajitas on the skillet, which is a little easier, I think, for anyone who wants to try this out than as opposed to grilling. So walk through the ingredients real quick for the marinade. First, we'll have seasonings. Adobo by Goya. This is one of my favorite seasonings to use on any sort of beef, poultry, or pork. It has a bunch of good stuff in it, and it does have a bunch of salt, so if you use this, I wouldn't use any additional salt. Next, some Worcestershire sauce, really good. And then when I'm doing a marinade like this, I also like to use sort of a balsamic vinaigrette or any sort of like salad dressing, actually. So this is just something I found in my fridge, this lime vinaigrette. So we're gonna use that. And then also I use a little bit of soy sauce. Moving on, we have some limes and some lemons. I'm gonna be using the juices and the lime and lemon zest as well. And then some garlic cloves that I'll show you real quick. I've left the skins on. I've just kind of separated each clove. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smash these so it kind of expels a bunch of that flavor. So you just go with like the flat side of your knife, push it down, and it sort of breaks the skin and opens up each clove of garlic. So let's go in with each of our seasonings. And it's gonna be the same for both the chicken and the beef. So I'm gonna go in with some soy for each. Next, our vinaigrette. None of these are exact measurements, but I definitely use less of the soy and the Worcestershire compared to the rest of the ingredients. And those, let's go in with our adobo. I do a healthy amount of this. This is really good stuff. Now, all of our juices. Our lemons. This is 3 lemon halves for each meat. And then all of our garlic. I'm leaving after they've been smashed. I'm just leaving all of them whole. Going in here, equal amounts. It's about 6 cloves of garlic for each bowl. And that's it. One last one here. Actually, that's not it. We're gonna go in just with a couple of our halves. This is a little grater, but you can also sort of do this with a knife. It's just much harder. I'm gonna go in just like the peel side down and grate some of that lemon zest. Knock it in there into each of these bowls. Not a ton, because we already did put the juices in, so you don't need that much more. Same thing with one of our limes. Just adds a bunch more flavor, very citrusy. It's really good for any sort of fajita dish you might be making. And that's it. I'm gonna mix these by hand, cover them, plastic wrap, put them in the fridge for at least an hour, but ideally 4 to 5 hours before you cook them. And then we'll cook these up later. All right, next part in our fajita recipe, we're gonna make some homemade tortillas, homemade flour tortillas. This is the same recipe that Joshua Weissman uses. He's a big YouTuber, big cooking star. I got a lot of my recipes from him, so he's awesome. Go subscribe to his stuff. Everything in his video for homemade flour tortillas, I've doubled because I'm making a lot. So yeah, in this bowl, I have 5 cups of this all-purpose flour. We're also gonna be using salt, baking powder, and traditionally lard or like pork fat is used for tortillas, but you know, any sort of neutral oil will also do. So let's go in with our baking powder. We're gonna do 3 teaspoons of that. That's 1, 2, and 3. Maybe that might have been a little more, but it's okay. Next, we're gonna go in with our salt. I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons of salt. And then this is a 1/2 cup of our neutral oil. So now, before we add our water, I'm gonna go in with my hands here and just kind of mix it around until it's sort of like a chunky sort of texture. Okay, now we're gonna start on our fajita meat. So I have a skillet for chicken, a skillet for beef, and then this cast iron skillet is gonna be for our tortillas in a little bit. So real simple, one at a time. We're gonna take our steak out of the marinade. I'm gonna rub off any excess garlic cloves and any sort of excess liquid, because we don't really want the steak being really wet when it goes in the pan. So we're just gonna lay away from ourselves and kind of push down. We're pushing down on the steak so it gets a nice even sear all the way across. I'm gonna get my my tongs so I can push that steak in as it begins to sear. And then same with our chicken. Shake off any sort of excess liquid or anything. We're gonna lay away from ourselves. Again, we hear that really nice sear, which means we're automatically getting some really good color. I smell it already. It smells incredible. I'm gonna move it around a little bit just so it doesn't stick. We're gonna keep that heat nice and high. I mean, boom. Bring it in, Robbie. Already. I'm not quite ready to flip yet, but we're getting some great color right off the bat. Now I've transferred my dough to my work surface. I'm using this cutting board here. I've been kneading it for about 5 to 7 minutes. It's turning smoother, as you can see. I floured my hands so I can kind of handle it easier. And now I'm gonna take my damp kitchen towel, cover it, and just let it rest for about 30 minutes. All right, so now that our flour mixture is sort of this like cornmeal chunky texture, I have about 400 milliliters of not hot but warm water. So we're just gonna slowly go over with that. And then again, with my hands, I'm gonna start kneading this, bringing it together until it forms a dough. All right, kill it, Robert. Okay, so with these tortillas, what I've been doing, I separated that big pile of dough that we had into smaller pieces using this ulu knife, but you know, any sort of knife or big scraper will probably work as well. Rolling pin, roll them out on a floured surface so it doesn't stick to the rolling pin and work through your hands. And one by one, we're gonna take our tortillas. Over here, I have a dry cast iron skillet. That means no oil, no butter, no nothing. We're just gonna go right on that tortilla. So we'll spread it out, and then literally after about 1.5 minutes, it'll be ready to flip. It's, as you can see, there's already sort of little bubbles, little crimps starting to rise to the surface of that tortilla. So we're gonna flip it, and then once we see this beautiful browning on both sides of the tortilla, that's when we know it's done. Once you're done, you're gonna take them off, put them on a separate plate with a damp rag to make sure that they don't dry out, and you're gonna leave them until you're ready to eat. Okay, the review for our chicken and steak fajitas. I mean, they look amazing. I'll put pictures on the Instagram as well as on this YouTube channel. And I'm here with my mom, and she's gonna help me review the fajitas. So let's take a bite. Good?
Very good. Love the homemade tortillas.
What do you give it out of 10?
9.5.
9.5. Awesome. Good eat.